Now, bows in Warframe are pretty much a vibe, right? They're an emotional state. In the game with so many one-shot weapons or explosive weapons, certain bows don't exactly have the same room clearing potential as other primary weapons that we have, but for some missions, they're just simply fun for us to use. Now, the Daikyu Prime is here, and it's had a bit of hype following it for some of us old school Tenno. It's been a very, and I mean a very long time coming. This is a weapon that the community has been asking for quite literally for a decade. Its base version was added into the game back in update 16.5, which was 10 years ago, which makes me feel old as feck, probably because I am, but the meta has shifted significantly since the days of non-explosive bows. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't use them if you feel like it. Find what you enjoy and just roll with it. Now, these are all of the relics from the Relic Prime access, from Ureli, Hook Compressor, and of course the Daikyu Prime as well. Caption or disruption missions are going to be some of the fastest missions that you can run in order to grind these relics out so that you can then run your Fisher missions and crack them open. Like Hepit, which is a void capture mission, will drop Lith relics. Then there is Uko, which is a void capture, which can drop Meso and Neo relics. Olympus, which is a disruption mission on Mars, can drop the Meso relics. And then there is Ur on Uranus, which can drop Neo relics. Then you can do the Axie relics, which you can get on Apollo, which is a Lua disruption, or you could go for Xeni on Eris, which is less popular, but it can drop Axie relics around round 3 or 4. Now, syndicates sell relic packs for 20,000 standing. Mining vendors on Cetus, Fortuna, or Demos can also sell relic packs. Teshin can trade them for steel essence. There are plenty of ways for you to stock up on relics in order to farm primes once they drop. So it's up to you which missions you want to farm. Now, the Daikyu Prime has got a pretty cool passive where it will give you a 250% crit chance on weak point hits, which can be then added to primary acuity if you want to equip that mod for even more weak point damage on top of its very own amalgam mod, which is the amalgam Daikyu target acquired mod. Target acquired will basically give you another 75% headshot multiplier along with arrow recovery, and it adds a 3% lifesteal heal if you've got a Nikana equipped as well and you're running around using melee. Now, you can pair this with primary deadhead to increase its headshot multiplier even further, so that the Daikyu can be a serious, I guess, single target weapon for weak points dealing damage in the millions. But again, it's entirely up to you how you want to mod, whether you want to use primary acuity or whether you want to go down the road of using a multi-shot build or not. It is a slow to kill weapon compared to most of our best weapons in the game, hence why I said at the start of the video it's a bit of, I guess, an emotional state, a bit of a vibe you're feeling at any given moment. But on missions like exterminate missions, it is a lot of fun. Now, compared to the normal Daikyu, it is a slight upgrade in pretty much every department, from damage to crit chance to crit damage to status, except for the Riven disposition, which is the lowest because it is a new weapon. So if you have got a really nice Riven for your base Daikyu, its stats on the Daikyu Prime are going to be much lower. Now, you are free, of course, to use any Warframe you want with the Daikyu. One of the Warframes I've been enjoying running it with is Kalervo, because Kalervo can curse enemies with his collective curse ability, where he sends that wave out and he links them all together. And it basically, if you do damage to one target that is linked, then all of the other targets that are linked will take a portion of that damage, which can be a lot, considering your Daikyu, when you hit a weak point, is going to be dealing damage in the millions. So it is quite cool seeing everything in front of you just being obliterated by one headshot to an enemy that's linked to the rest. Now, outside of that, the fact that it is just a single target weapon and it doesn't explode and it doesn't have a lot of room clearing potential, it's just an okay weapon. Now, you can also bring it, of course, on Quincy or Scythe09, who specializes in weak point damage and amplifying all of that, and of course it's going to be quite effective. But if you're doing survival missions or missions that have a lot of enemies kind of rushing you, then you would be much better just bringing a different weapon. But aesthetically, it looks really nice, and I have been waiting 10 years, so I'm going to break it out every now and then to actually use it. Am I going to use it every day? Probably not, but I have put a lot of Forma on it, which leaves me up to the build. Now, if you are a new player to Warframe and you've just picked up the Prime Access bundle and you're trying to figure out, what is the best way to build this bow for a new player, because you don't have any of the galvanized mods or you don't have any of Prime mods or Bane mods, then you could go for something that would be a little bit like this, where you're leaning into damage, but you're also leaning into crit chance and status chance. Multi-shot, you're doing your fire rate, which is going to increase the charge up time. It's also giving you additional punch through. And then I've gone for viral as the element of choice. You could go whatever you wanted to here. But that would be a pretty much kind of balanced new player build if you have those mods. Just use whatever mods you have until you finally start getting the ones that I guess the end game players are using. Now, this is pretty much my Daikyu Prime build. I have got quite a few form on it because I enjoy running with the build, and the Daikyu is the probably only bow in the game that I actually really like. Now, the unique trait of this weapon is that its weak point hits have a 250% crit chance, which means you're always going to be aiming for those weak points, whether it's headshots or whatever. Primary acuity will also give you another 350% weak point crit chance on top of the 350% weak point damage. However, you can't add multi-shot to the weapon. Now, you've also got rifle elementalist in the build for status damage and punch through. I've got vile acceleration to increase the charge up time. Serration is, I guess, a personal choice. You can use amalgam serration here if you wanted to, or you could use a bane mod either if you like using bane mods. I know not a lot of people like using them, but they are there if you are one of the players that does like changing your config depending on the enemy type that you're up against. Then I've got Stormbringer as the element of choice. You could use toxic here or you could use heat, entirely up to you. Stormbringer has a nice kind of proc in an AoE around enemies which can stun other enemies. Then I've got Galvanized Aptitude, which is going to increase my status chance, but it's also going to give me direct damage depending on the amount of status types that are affecting the target. Then to round it off, I've got basically Terminal Velocity, which will increase the arrow speed, the projectile speed, once I shoot that arrow off. And I've got Primary Deadhead as my arcane of choice. Now, you could also use Longbow Sharpshot Arcane here if you want to. I don't have a maxed one out, so I still need to get farming for that, which is why I've settled on Primary Deadhead, which is going to increase my damage whenever I get a precision headshot kill, and it's also going to increase the headshot multiplier that I get as well. And since this bow is all about weak points and headshots, you want to lean into that as much as humanly possible. Now, if you wanted to and you don't like primary acuity, you could go for a multi-shot build, which would be something like this. You could feel free to drop any mods out. Maybe if you wanted to go viral, then you could get rid of some of the mods and drop in elemental mods. If you wanted to use internal bleeding, since the bow does deal guaranteed impact procs, then you could pop that in somewhere as well. Right now, you're kind of struggling for choice with the limited amount of mod slots that you have and the, I guess, the different types of builds that you could go for with this weapon, depending on what you wanted to. Now, remember to mod to fit your own playstyle. If it's not working for you or if you're not having fun, then switch it up. And if it's still not working for you at the end of that, then it's just not the weapon for you. There is, I think, nearly 600 weapons in the game, so there is plenty to choose from. If you don't like this one, that's fine. If you want to mod it a different way than me, then that's fine as well. Feel free to let me know in the comment section below how you've gone about modding your Daikyu Prime if you have it built yet, or if you've had any luck farming it, that is. And at the same time, let me know what Warframe you're having the most fun with while running the Daikyu Prime as well. Like I said, it is a game right now where the meta is using explosive weapons or weapons that can clear a room very fast. Something that bows, like I guess this, like the Dread, and a few others don't necessarily do outside of incarnate forms or explosive bows, which leaves this one kind of trailing behind all of them. Again, share your thoughts in the comment section below. Have a great day, have a great week or a great weekend, and as always, thanks for watching.